I decided to make comments by video for a couple of reasons. I'll be able to spend more time enjoying the proceedings at the board meeting, and I don't have to then worry about making a speech live at the time. But the second reason, and equally important, is, and many of you may not know this about me, I have been banned for many years from speaking at family engagements. And the reason that I've been banned is because my performance is so terrible, because I have this idiopathic difficulty with my tear ducts anytime that I begin to comment on things that are heartfelt and personal. First and foremost, I wanted to thank my wife Holly for her support over all of the years, going back all the way to about 1990. Now, of course, when the children were still young and needed to be at home, she couldn't participate, but she gave always her wholehearted support to my work with the National Board. Now, over time, as the children got older and more self-sufficient, and we actually became empty nesters, she began to accompany me on these various trips and became part of the NBOME family. And first and foremost, I would like to thank her for all of that over the years. My history with the NBOME goes back to, like I said earlier, about 1990, and I'm going to lay the blame fully on Dr. Tom Cavalieri. Tom was a faculty member at UMDNJ when I was a student, and an intern and a resident and a fellow in geriatrics when I worked under Tom. And it's really kind of interesting. And I'll take a little liberty with the facts because it did occur so long ago, but the story goes something like this. Tom approached me when I was a fellow and said, "Wayne, I have to write 10 questions for NBOME. I don't have enough time. Can you write 5 for me?" And I said, "Sure, tell me how to do it. Point me in the right direction." So I wrote 5 questions. A few weeks later, he comes to me and says, "Wayne, I got a problem. I got to write 20 questions for NBOME. I don't have time to write any of them. Can you write 20 questions?" A couple months later, he comes to me and says, "I have to go to an exam review meeting in Chicago. I don't have time. Can you go in my place?" So I packed up my bags, I went to Chicago, and participated in the meeting. One thing led to another, and before you know it, I had my own appointments on committees, and eventually I was beginning to follow even more so in Tom's footprints as he had an opportunity to become level coordinator for level 3. And I was the vice chair, and I was supposed to have that role for 3 years. Unfortunately, Tom became dean of the college, and subsequently I became chair 2 years earlier. So with that, there was an extremely steep learning curve, but I managed to work my way through that. Beyond that, there was a brief hiatus in my activities with NBOME, but I was then appointed to the Finance Committee and eventually got involved with the Audit Committee, and in 2005 was appointed to the Board of Directors. In 2011, I was appointed as vice chair and then spent 2 years as vice chair, 2 years as chairman of the board, and now I'm wrapping up my final year as immediate past chair. Yeah, first of all, the event was such a great opportunity to celebrate the success of the organization over the previous 75 years. But one of the highlights of the event, of that meeting for me, was the fact that so many past presidents and chairs were invited to the meeting to participate in the celebration. And I came to the realization that of the previous chairs and presidents of this organization, 5 of them were faculty members of mine and mentors of mine. And so if you think about it, perhaps it was almost inevitable that I became so heavily involved with the organization over time. So I really would like to take this opportunity to thank those 5 individuals: Dr. Mioli, Dr. Ranieri, Dr. Santucci, Dr. Cavalieri, and Dr. Mochin, and thank them for their mentorship and their training, which at some level resulted in my deep involvement in this organization. Accepting the Santucci Award is really one of the highlights of my career. As you recall, I had mentioned earlier that Dr. Tom Santucci was one of my mentors at UMDNJ when I was a student there at the School of Osteopathic Medicine. And even though he was a pediatrician and I eventually became a geriatrician, I learned so much from Tom in terms of understanding the nature of evidence-based practice and rigor that he sort of imbued upon all of us, students, all of the students that were under his educational leadership. So that is extremely important to me. And I just really wanted to emphasize as well that I have, in my opinion, gotten more out of this organization than I have ever put into it. It has been such a great opportunity for me to learn and grow professionally, and so much of what I have learned in my work with NBOME has been broadly applicable to my day job at the Ohio University Heritage College of Osteopathic Medicine, and vice versa. I have been able to bring things from that position into my work with NBOME. So many people have had an impact on my involvement with the NBOME, and I would like to thank all of them. Some that I'll be able to list here in just a moment, many who, there's just so many I can't possibly list them all. But Dr. Bushman, Dr. Mioli, Dr. Cavalieri, as I've mentioned before, and let's not forget Dr. Thornburg and Dr. Knabel. But beyond that, I want to give a special thank you to Dr. Gimple, whose leadership has enabled the organization to change so tremendously, even over just the last 10 years or so, to be bigger, better, stronger, and more able to carry out its mission to protect the public. In conclusion, I would like to take this opportunity to reflect on my many years of work with the NBOME. I'm looking forward to continued participation in the organization in the future, and I just wanted to call attention to the fact that this was a highly successful venture, putting together these comments using the video technology available to us, because see, I now have had the opportunity to spend time with friends and family and colleagues rather than worrying about giving a speech, and notice my tear ducts were fine.